Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Jordan and I'm kind of new here. This is my very first YouTube video, at least on this channel, which is my planning and parenting channel. And I'm here because I am currently 37, almost 38 weeks pregnant with my second baby. And I wanted to share what I'm packing in my hospital bag. Because I've done it once before, I think I know what I need to bring and what I don't need to bring. And I'd love to share that with anyone who is expecting and who's not quite sure what to put in their hospital bag. Before I get started, I will kind of share a little bit about my birth experience and my birth plan very briefly. Like I mentioned, this is my second baby. My first baby, I was induced and I had a regular vaginal birth. This time around, my baby is actually breech, and so we are planning on doing a scheduled C-section. So obviously I'm planning on my actual births looking a little bit different, but I still think that I have a good idea of what I need to bring to make myself comfortable and what the hospital will provide and what I'm just going to leave up to them. So very first thing obviously is my wallet with my insurance information. That and my phone pretty much go everywhere with me anyway, and so it's not like I need to pack them specially, but I thought I'd mention not to forget if you are, going into labor and scrambling around getting things, don't forget to grab your wallet with your ID and your insurance card and your phone kind of as bare minimum necessities. And then getting into what's in my actual hospital bag, I just have this pretty big duffel bag from Target. You can use a backpack or a like carry-on size suitcase if that works better for you. I just have this bag that makes it easy to just shove everything in and go. And then my husband also typically packs his own bag separately. So I'm packing for myself and baby. Husband, he's on his own. So to start, speaking of baby, I actually don't have that many things that I bring for the baby itself. If you're watching multiple videos like this, you'll probably see and hear that the hospital provides almost everything that you need for your baby while you are staying in the hospital. So that includes diapers, wipes, any creams or lotions you would use on them, any medication they might need, feeding them, as far as obviously if you're breastfeeding, you don't need to bring anything, but if you were to need formula or a breast pump and bottles, they provide all of that, so you don't need to clutter up your bag with any of that stuff. All you really need to bring are clothes, so I'm only planning on bringing one, maybe two outfits. This is probably going to be the baby's take-home outfit. We know it's a boy, and we're having him in, early middle June, so it'll probably be a little warm, so I'm not planning on bundling him up too much. I will also bring a blanket with his car seat just in case I do need to bundle him up a little bit more, but really one outfit is all I'm planning on bringing. I know a lot of people do bring multiple outfits for taking pictures or bring special swaddles or whatever it may be. Honestly, last time we just didn't really care to dress up the baby in a ton of different outfits. The diaper and the sleep sack that the hospital provided was good for the majority of the stay, and then once we were ready to go home, we just dressed the baby in the one outfit that we brought for the take-home outfit. So that's all I'm planning on bringing for that. Fairly low maintenance. And then the only other somewhat necessity I'm considering for my baby is pacifiers. Now this also probably depends on your hospital. Our hospital does not encourage pacifier use. They're okay with it if you want to do it, but they don't provide pacifiers. And we learned the hard way not to forget to pack your own, because my first baby ended up being extremely orally fixated. Without the pacifier, she was very fussy, always wanted to be feeding. And then we actually got a nurse to sneak us a pacifier because we didn't bring one, and that was a lifesaver, game changer. From then on, our baby was much calmer, slept longer. It was overall a much better decision. So I just have a couple of, newborn pacifiers that I'm bringing with. A piece of advice a lot of new moms share is if you are wanting to try a pacifier with your baby, to make sure to have several different kinds on hand, because not all babies like the same type of pacifier. And I do have some other types of pacifier in the nursery, but I'm just planning on bringing these ones to the hospital instead of bringing like 3 or 4 different types of passies. So with that being pretty much all that I'm bringing for baby, what am I bringing for myself? Right on top, I have a couple of books. I am a reader. Like I mentioned, I actually have a book YouTube channel, and so I read a lot of books. That's pretty much my primary form of entertainment. If you prefer to watch movies or listen to music, make sure that you are bringing, an iPad and headphones or whatever you need to be entertained. I'm just choosing to use books. In my case, because I'm expecting a C-section, I'm actually not sure that I'm going to have any time to read, because I'm pretty much gonna get there, have the baby, and then be occupied, with the baby. But if it's the case where you're being induced or you're just going in regularly in labor and not planning to have a C-section, you know, where you might have several hours before the actual birth, I definitely recommend having some sort of entertainment, because you're not going to be sleep deprived yet. At that point, you're just going to be, you know, laboring in the hospital and probably going to need something to take your mind off of what is going on. As far as like clothes for myself, I also did not bring a whole lot. I packed 2 of these like nursing gowns. They're basically like pajamas. I just got them off Amazon, and they specifically have the buttons down the front. And so I have that kind of teal color one and this black one. Again, they just have buttons. And if I feel like changing clothes, this is what I would change into. Last time, I honestly stayed in the hospital gown for almost the whole time until we were ready to go home, just because in the hospital gown, it's fine if things, you know, get dirty. I didn't have to worry about being careful about like spilling milk or other bodily fluids. It really was easier for me just to stay in the hospital gown, because that also had slits for nursing, and then obviously was open on the bottom so that they could check out and do whatever they had to do, you know, as follow-up to the actual birth. But if you are wanting to bring something to change into, again, I would recommend these, you know, just nursing gowns, something that's loose and open, especially something that's open on the bottom. I can't imagine you would want to be sitting in the hospital bed in like shorts or pants, especially if you have a vaginal delivery. For me, the first time, there were several follow-up checks where they were, you know, down there checking things out. And so you want things to be open for them to check and not have to mess with clothes. For a C-section, I imagine it'll be largely the same, other than obviously being more focused on the actual incision area. And then one of these I'll just consider my take-home outfit. Again, it's kind of like pajamas, but I'm not planning on seeing anyone as I'm going home from the hospital that I need to impress. And then other than the shoes that I'm planning on wearing into the hospital, which will probably be, you know, flip-flops or sandals or whatever, I did just pack 1 pair of slippers. Last time I didn't do a whole lot of walking around, but if I am and I don't want to put, you know, actual shoes on, slippers are nice for being able to just kind of walk around the room. As far as personal hygiene, like self-care items, I am packing my own soap and then shampoo and conditioner. And these are full-size bottles. They wouldn't have to be, but both my husband and I would plan to use these. And I'm specifically packing these because I remember my first time taking a bath and then a shower. All they really had was like a 3-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, body wash that they provided, which is fine. It's all you need. But I think we would prefer having our own shampoo and conditioner and body wash to really feel the most clean and comfortable. And to me, it's worth the little extra space that the full-size bottles take up, just so I'm not worried about rationing like travel size between the 2 of us. And then I just have my general toiletries bag, which I pack pretty similarly to how I would pack for like a trip. Some necessities: deodorant, a mirror if you are someone who's planning on putting on makeup for, you know, pictures or just to feel nice. I did bring the first time and am packing this time like minimal makeup, and the mirror just makes it so that I can obviously apply it in the hospital bed. I don't have to get up to the bathroom. But like face wash supplies, toothbrush, toothpaste, chapstick, definitely if you're a user, I would plan on bringing multiple of them so that you can have one, you know, in your toiletries bag, but then you can also have one by your bedside. If you are a glasses or contacts wearer, definitely make sure you have those. Contacts or glasses, whatever you prefer to wear. And then you'll hear a lot of people say hair ties, whether it's, you know, scrunchies or like actual little hair ties and bobby pins or whatever. If you are someone who gets hot easily and doesn't want their hair on their neck, definitely don't forget to bring hair ties. Let's see, but that's pretty much it for the toiletries bag. Again, kind of like you're going on vacation, just the necessities. You don't need your whole vanity there with you. And then the only like aftercare item that I'm planning on bringing is breast pads. These just will catch, you know, leaking milk. I don't remember having a ton of leaking milk when I was in the hospital the first time, because it does take a few days for your milk to actually come in. But I just remember that being kind of the one thing that they didn't provide for me in the hospital. Otherwise, all of my aftercare stuff, much like the baby, that's needed for my recovery, the hospital will have. So like a spray bottle for using the restroom, pads for catching bleeding, disposable underwear, all of that stuff they'll have. I do have my own aftercare kit already set up at home, but that's gonna stay in my bathroom. I don't need to bring it to the hospital with me. And same for like medications. They'll give you all of the painkillers you need, all of the regular medications, prenatal vitamins, which they recommend continuing to take after birth if you are planning on breastfeeding or pumping. For me, they didn't have me bring it to the hospital. They just had me resume those once I got home. So anything medication or aftercare need will be covered by the hospital, so no need to bring. Then last but not least, just a couple of miscellaneous items. I am bringing 2 water cups. And this is something maybe a lot of people don't bring with them, but I am a huge water drinker. And yes, they do provide you with like a big water cup in the hospital, and that's amazing, and I definitely plan on using that. But here's the thing, I like drinking water so much that I started feeling bad for asking my husband to go continue filling up that singular water bottle and then drinking it in, you know, half an hour or whatever. If I could just send him with 3, then he can fill all 3 of them up, and then I'll be good for, you know, 3 times as long before having him go and refill my water. So that's the reasoning behind that. If you think 1 water bottle is good for you, then definitely you don't have to pack anything. And also, obviously, my husband can use one of the cups if he would like to, since we'll have 3 of them. And then the very last thing that I threw in, I mentioned for feeding, whether you're pumping or formula feeding or breastfeeding, they pretty much have what you need. But I did not have a haka the first time, and what this is, it's like a suction cup kind of thing that you, if you are breastfeeding on one side, you would put this on the other side to catch excess milk. Now, this is definitely a nice to have, not a necessity. Like I mentioned, I didn't even have this with my first baby, but being that I will probably try to breastfeed at least while I'm in the hospital, I figure this will just be nice to have, again, to catch that extra milk, especially because in those early days, you're not producing a ton, and so every single drop that you get is precious and useful, and so I figure that will get used in the event that I am producing extra while I'm feeding. But otherwise, that is honestly it. Like I mentioned, my husband will be packing his own bag. I'm also putting him in charge of like snacks because he'll be the primary user and eater of those snacks. As the birth mother, you get all of your meals provided in the hospital, and for me, that was pretty much enough to keep me sustained, so it's not like I needed a whole bunch of snack food there for me. But something to consider if you are, you know, also having your husband pack, or you're packing for your husband, or you're just packing for yourself. If you want to include snacks, go right ahead and do that. In that, I guess I would include other like specialty drinks. If you don't want water, you could bring that yourself too. Otherwise, I think that is it. I would consider my hospital bag to be fairly minimal. I'm not the type of person who would rather have, you know, bags and bags of stuff in the event that I would maybe possibly need it. I'd rather have just the essentials so I know where everything is, I know exactly what I brought, and I let the hospital kind of fill in the rest. And if worst comes to absolute worst, I can send my husband on a trip to go pick up something that I forgot. But let me know if there's anything you think that I'm forgetting that you had in the hospital and you thought was super useful, or if there's anything that you're wondering if you should bring or not. I'd be happy to answer that question. But otherwise, I don't think I have anything else. So thank you so much for watching this video. I do plan on putting out new videos regularly, even after this new baby is born. So please subscribe if you're interested in that planning and parenting type of content. I will have 2 kids under 2, and so I will definitely have some specific videos and information about that experience. And if you do stick around, I will see you in my next video.